3ds Max tips and tricks video, I'm gonna show you how you can get access to 3D cars, which are available by default in 3ds Max when you start using Civil View. The only thing you need to generate a 3D car is a shape. So I drawn a line over here, and in Civil View I've already did the initialization. So for the first time you need to initialize Civil View. Then it's gonna ask you what kind of default settings do you want. Then you need to restart 3ds Max and everything will be initialized, and then you can start Civil View. In Civil View, you do have access to what is called the Object Placement Style Editor. And if you have a shape selected, it becomes automatically a parent shape. So what I mean by that, if I move the shape by transforming the shape, in this case the line, the connected cars will automatically move with it as well. So I want to use this as a parent shape. And then I'm going to create a new element. So in the upper part of the dialog, I'm going to add a new element. And I'm going straight into the vehicles. We have cars. If you want to see a better preview, you can right click in an empty space and activate large icons. So in this case, I want to generate an Audi. I want to place a single object. I don't want to animate it. If you want to give it a speed, you can do that down here in the animation options. And I'm just going to generate it. So I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to close this dialog. It's going to ask me, do you want to save this particular style so you can reuse it later? I don't need it later, so I'm not gonna save it. And this is what you will get. So when I go back from my clay shading style into default shading, this is what you get, right? The geometry itself doesn't look too good. So what you can do if you want to have a higher resolution, you can go into the modify panel, and I'd like to use the Open Subdiv modifier, which is available in Max for a couple of years now. And I'm also able to just drag and drop the Open Subdiv modifier to the front axis of the vehicle and the rear axis of the vehicle. Next step might be the materials, because when I do launch my active shade in the viewport, I'm using just the default art renderer. Can be done with Arnold as well. This is available since the update 3 for Max 2019. So if I activate active shading, it starts calculating, and there it is. And immediately what you see, well, the material, it's a bit flat. So what I like to do is just quit the active shade, and I'm going to convert the material into a physical material. That's the reason why it looks so flat. So I'm going to use the scene converter. So in the Max rendering menu, I'm going to open up the scene converter. I'm just gonna hit the convert scene, and it's gonna convert all the materials into physical materials. So if I now select the vehicle, if I open up the material editor and go to material, get from selected, it still is a multi-sub object with a lot of different materials, because all the different metallic paints based on the material ID are in there. So let me quickly zoom in on the multi-sub object material. So if material ID 1 is being used, then the body is green, 2 for blue, and so on. It's green, but it's randomly picked. That's due to the default behavior of Civil View. If you want to get rid of all the not used materials, there is a nice utility. So in the utilities menu of the Slate Material Editor, there's an option called Clean Multi-Material. So this is gonna get rid all of the materials which are not being used. So now it's much more clear for me what kind of materials do we have. So the body green, that's material ID number 1. So let me go to material ID number 1. The old materials are still in there, but they are disconnected. So if you want to just clean it up, go into edit, do a clear view, hit yes, and then get it back from the selection. There it is. Okay, so now it's corrected. So double click to activate the material. And what I can do is just change the preset into a red sports car paint. So that's going to add a coating layer. It's because the physical material is a layered based material. And if I activate my active shade again, this will look automatically much better. And I can do the same with the glass if I want to do that. And from this particular point of view, I'm also able to save the vehicle to my own car library. There's only one thing you need to take care of, is that you disconnect the vehicle from the shape, and that can be done in the Civil View Explorer. So if I go to Civil View, Civil View Explorer, this is where all the vehicles are listed. So I'm selecting the vehicle, so that's the Audi. And in the tracking tab, I'm gonna disconnect the position controller. So in the background, it's just using a path constraint, and I'm disconnecting this one. So by hitting the X, it's gonna ask me, are you sure you wanna bake the position? Gonna hit yes. Okay. And now I'm able to select the vehicle itself, and including the front and back axis. I might group this together. That might make sense to group this as my Audi. Okay. I can reset the transforms if I want, and then I'm saving out the selection as a separate max file. So I'm able to merge in the vehicle into any other 3ds Max scene.